Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. Support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys. Head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Hello, everyone.
Hello!
We're on the episode of Hypecast!
Hypecast!
The show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm your other co-host, David Bell.
Are we supposed to come in now?
Yeah, you are!
Yeah! Whoa!
Whoa! Yeah!
Now, if you smash that together, it'll seem like we're excited to be here, because we are, and it would be the truth. Hi, fellas. Great to be back.
Hello, Michael Swaim.
Michael Swaim.
Yeah.
And this guy,
And
the
Abe.
coolest guy of the four.
Abe forgot his own name.
Abe Epperson.
Cool guy Abe. That's as
Holy
we call him.
moly. This is an event. This is like
yeah.
Endgame.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
this is a crossover event of the decade.
This will end
Who
both of
survived?
our networks, right? This is the
Endgame
last
makes sense that the
episode.
franchise starts to lose its magic now, and we all see through the formula.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everyone knows what we're up
You're
to
like,
now.
that really was the last good thing, really.
Yeah, this episode ruins both our networks.
Yeah.
But let's ride it out, baby. We're going to have a great time this episode. It's going to
Yeah,
be
we
the
are.
best episode we've ever done.
And when we talk about networks, we're of course talking about the small beans, which you two are representatives of. But there's more. There's more to you guys than that, isn't there?
There's
a lot.
We are multitudes.
Well, one
Dave.
thing. Not a lot. One thing. I mean,
Do you want to get into it, Michael?
sure. We're here because we like to hypecast, but also specifically this time we're here promoting our movie, which is called Papa Bear. It's based on the hilarious, poignant, true story of the time my dad came out as a gay furry when I was 17, and a bunch of other stuff. It's like a poignant coming of age comedy with lots of heart, sort of like 8th grade Lady Bird movies in that range, if you're aware. And if you don't know us, which would be odd, but I'll just do the little spiel. We led the video department at Cracked by and large for about more than a decade. So we cranked out a lot of video. We got one movie you could watch for free on YouTube right now called Kill Me Now if you're interested in checking out our chops. But otherwise, if just the hook intrigues you, please head over. We're doing our crowdfunding portion right now. It's a larger scope project, and we have some investors on board already, but we're crowdfunding a portion of production, and that's happening right dang now over at seedandspark.com/fund/papa-bear.
It's not every day that you get to help make a good movie happen. And so, people should.
This is a unique opportunity to make a good movie exist.
That's true, and we should mention rewards exist, like I Will Insult You Online is one of the lowest ones, but also signed posters, props from the film, ultimately, like, you can get flown out to the premiere, name in the credits, stuff like that, so check it out.
Absolutely. What's the link again? Just
seedandspark.com/fund/papa-bear, baby.
All right.
Fund Papa Bear.
Yeah.
That's the ticket.
It occurs to me.
Oh, and I should say, sorry, the lowest tier is $15. That's just like pre-buying a ticket. So just do that, if nothing else, because then you get to see the movie when it comes out.
It occurs to me
Mm-hmm.
that when we make the movie and we come out with a trailer, if Dave doesn't put Papa Bear in the slot for movies that deserve more hype,
oh, we'll do it.
it will be
would
a
be
snub
weird, right?
of the ages.
Or we'll put it on
We'll
the
mean all that.
we'll put the trailer on the dock and then like talk shit about it.
Yeah, I will be like, I don't know about this.
This movie looks like
No,
ass.
I actually considered putting it on today's movie that deserved more hype,
that's a
but I
bit-
was like, we'll wait. Yeah, we'll wait till there's a trailer.
Yep.
Right, it isn't anything yet, so that would be weird.
But it is in a lot of ways
Yeah.
a movie that deserves way more hype.
Thank you, sir. You can can also check out like the script, the lookbook, the business plan. We're very serious.
Yeah, it's all
Gentlemen.
on that page.
You
Yeah,
guys sent that
We're
poster. That
script,
poster looks awesome.
script.
We are
And the poster,
serious
movie poster,
gentlemen.
Yeah. That's how you know.
Yeah, it's I'm very excited. I'm very excited. The future is bright.
This is great.
Yeah. Speaking of things I'm excited about, should we name
Let's
some
have fun.
producers?
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do it. Let's
Go
do
to
it.
town.
Okay, name and producers. Big thank you to the lubed up ghost of Dave Thomas. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Up now. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you
Good.
to at Nerd Numbers.
Thank you.
Thank you to Zero Charisma.
Thank you.
Thank you to Aaron Burser.
Thank you.
Thank you to AJ.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Andrew Howe. Deck the halls with blood.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Asking Seven.
Thank you.
Thank you to Barry Two Math wants you to go to the gym and drink water. Oh, and Sky's Life. Love y'all.
Pick it up, pick it up.
Thank you to Bob Grenville.
Thank you. All right, let me swoop in here. Thank you to Bootler Bootlison.
Thank
you to Brian, who Tom knows.
Thanks.
Thank you to Brockway Loves the Meat Millie. Thank you to Chester's Prophet.
Thank
Thank you to Christopher Robert Sparks, Esquire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you.
Thank you to Davey, the ghost of East Las Vegas Francis.
Thank you.
And thank you to David Knife Boot Hinson.
Knife Boot.
Knife in the boot.
All right. It's time for trailers. This is a weird mix.
All right.
We got a weird.
Really, we could
weird
stop
mix.
talking about them after this first trailer, I think.
Yeah. This first trailer is for Meg 2, The Trench. This is the sequel to, I believe, The Meg.
Indeed.
Yeah, with Jason Statham.
giant shark movie from 2018.
Yeah.
Which was pretty boring.
Yeah.
This movie
That's
looks
what
to
I was
correct
like-
those mistakes.
Yeah, do you
Yeah.
remember that being fucking awesome? Because this looks incredible to me. And
Yeah.
I'm so hard to win over on movies exactly like this. Like, I'm like, yeah, big, dumb, and loud. And this one, I was on the edge of my seat. Like, I have to pop popcorn and watch this right now.
Right,
It
like
looks
this-
rad
Yeah.
as hell.
Yeah, like just from the trailer, this movie seems like it understood everything that the previous movie was supposed to be. Like the previous movie is like 2 hours long. It's kind of dull. It's like
Do you remember who directed it? John Turteltaub.
John Turteltaub, yeah.
Yes.
It's yeah, it's
Sorcerer's
not-
Apprentice fame.
He's a fine director. He's not a like that's what it is that the Meg one
was
it's
fine.
it's a Ouija 2 situation, right? Where it does feel like they're like, why did we do that? Why did we make a
Why
giant
did we
shark
make
movie?
this boring ass movie about a giant shark?
Very serious.
Yeah, with Jason Statham. This feels like it might be R-rated. It's
better
Ben
be.
Wheatley.
It better be.
Yeah, it's the director of High Rise and Free Fire and In the Earth. So like this is a name, you know. This is like someone.
It's the
writer of
it's a
Battleship.
surprising director. Also, I think
Yes.
Jason Statham has a writing credit, doesn't he?
Oh,
I remember
nice.
He got
reading
his
while this was
dirty
in
hands in
production
there.
that Statham was contributing to the story, and I was like, "Well, that's perfect. You
Oh,
should have had him pitch ideas for the first movie."
Yeah, Act 3 breaks in the wrong place, mate. Like,
So
I love
here,
him.
I'm gonna fight the shark with my bare hands. How can you fight the shark underwater? I don't know. Give me a suit. In this trailer, he has a suit.
He has a suit. They figured it out.
They figured it out. It also
yeah.
It also looks like they have like a Skull Island bit where like they're gonna find all sorts of like weird creepy crawlies at the bottom of the
There's
ocean.
a kraken, maybe.
Right, there looks
Yeah,
like a
that's
squid or a
right.
kraken or
Kraken.
something. Yeah.
The trailer promises so much that is already smart and right. It's almost as if you're looking at a student who presented this hook or whatever, and their bullet points are correct. You're like, of course. Then there's a bunch of weird, like, you know, in Act 3
Right.
or at midpoint, it escalates into the trenches just spitting monsters out. Like, what undersea hell lurks in the depths for us.
Just lousy with sea monsters.
It's gonna be great. And man, the fact that they know that the final shot is this thing that's so large that the cold open of the trailer. Yes, this trailer has a very effective cold open, like a
it
TV
really
show.
does. Yeah.
This shark that can eat a T-Rex. Jason Statham fights it like personally.
That's actually
with his fire.
That's funny to me is that he's like, I can take it.
Yeah,
like the absolute boldness.
Yeah, his eyes just narrow. He's like, "Give me 5 minutes. I'll put this
And a
I'll put this
harpoon?
fucking
Like,
thing on a plate."
What the fuck is our harpoon gonna do?
Car door over and over.
I do want to point out that, believe it or not, and you guys may have known this because you were all nerds in the 90s, but The Meg is based on a book. It was actually it was the first thing I bought from Amazon was The Meg, the book The Meg. It was like mid 90s, I want to say 97.
Little Tom facts.
Yeah, and the scene where it eats the Tyrannosaurus, that's the prologue of the book. So it's like a Lost World sitch
so
where
it's
you're
like-
seeing like the compy scene in the beginning that was from the original Jurassic
That's
Park
right.
book. So yeah, like I have forgotten almost everything about the book except I do remember that the way Jason Statham's character kills the final Meg in the original book is that he gets eaten by the Meg and cuts his way out with a Meg tooth. I was like, oh, that's kind of boss. But the other thing that stuck in my mind was this T-Rex scene. So it's like, of course, like how on earth do you only include that scene in the second movie? Like you read the book to make the first film. Like that's the first scene that happens, and like you would think a Hollywood producer reading that book to like make it into a film would be like, well, obviously this is going in the movie.
The actual name of this should be Meg 2, We're Sorry.
We did it right
like,
this
that's what
time.
Meg 2 Domino's reboot. Like, look, we know it's bad, but it's better now.
There's a line in it that makes me very happy. Or it's just the implication of it. Like, it should be... I bet they don't actually do it. But there's a line in the trailer that is, it's the biggest Meg anyone's ever seen.
Yep.
And I was just hoping that someone comes in and just says, like, yeah, we've seen, like, 2.
Well,
Statham,
3 now that this movie's dropped, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a family of Megs. Statham does immediately say it's the biggest Meg anyone's ever seen. So they do sort of answer that because I did flag that it's a particularly ridiculous thing to say.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like 13
again,
people have seen a Meg.
Right. Yeah, it's not that impressive. It's more impressive just to look at the animal and go, "Oh my god."
By the way, it's not just the writer of Battleship. They also did Whiteout and Red 1 and 2. There's also the writer of
I liked Red.
Paycheck, the Ben Affleck Paycheck.
Oof, that's one of the
and
worst
the
movies I've ever
Manchurian
seen.
Candidate. Yeah, but this makes me happier because I think the director understands. The director has done very good stuff and
He's
clearly knows what they're doing.
Legit surprising director to be making this film.
So I think this works really well because it's a script that might be just legitimately cheesy, done by a director who understands how fun that is, right? Like, it feels like if we're lucky, they're not going to wink at the camera. It's just going to be Deep Blue Sea level ridiculousness,
Yes,
right?
that's all we needed. That's all we needed.
Yeah.
Deep Blue Sea remains a perfect film.
Exactly.
It's
second best shark movie
It's the
ever
second
made.
best shark movie ever made, right? Yeah, it's the Paul F. Tompkins joke, I think, where he says, how many good shark movies have there been? Still just the one?
Still just the one, yeah.
But I argue Deep Blue Sea is the second good shark movie.
I
Anyway.
could argue. I actually like I think it was the sequel, but the 47 Meters Down, where there's a
blind
scene where
shark
there's
in the
a dude-
caves.
Yeah, and there's a dude whose job, I guess, or like he's welding in ruins underwater, listening to rock music. Welding. And I'm like, that's
You gotta
a thing?
weld your ruin.
Anyway, a shark eats him.
Right.
I like
Ruins,
The Shallows, too. The Shallows
was pretty good, yeah. I do want to point out that in 47 Meters Down, the first one was pretty okay, but in that sequel, like, that dude is welding specifically in a set of underwater ruins that are so obscure and labyrinthine. Is that right?
Sure.
That the premise of the film is that a shark got stuck down there and lost, and it's now it's basically like a deep sea creature. It's now blind and it hunts based on sound and all this other stuff. So like, but this dude's just casually welding shit in like this mysterious lost underwater temple that trapped and blinded a sea monster.
Right. It's like Indiana. It's like the knight at the end of Last Crusade, where it's like, what are you doing in here? How'd you get in here? Like he's just hanging out.
He's reading the Bible, Dave. That's all he's doing.
Yeah, that's all he's doing.
It's the only book he's got.
And jerking off so much.
Oh hell yeah, he's
so much.
He's been coming dust for like 500 years.
Speaking of coming dust,
Sure.
next trailer is for Oppenheimer. Are we good with the Meg? I mean, it's
We're
hard.
good with the
because
Meg.
we could talk
I
about
really
the
just want to talk about the
forever.
Meg forever, but I also
It's-
want to talk about Oppenheimer.
But I want to take the hype from that, which is like a pure hype drop, and smear it over the rest of these trailers while it's still fresh,
Right.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Hot out of my
Oppenheimer,
anus hype.
new trailer. First look at Einstein. Einstein.
Yeah.
It's a guy who looks like Einstein.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
You
I don't know why.
You figure they probably asked him.
Asked Einstein.
Even though he's not a
I looked it up.
He
physicist.
must have turned it down.
Or was he
Yeah.
a physicist? I actually don't know what kind of scientist Einstein was.
I
Yeah,
looked
he
it
was
up,
a
and
physicist.
Oppenheimer
Oh,
was
he
actually
I'm fucking dumb as hell.
theoretical.
Oppenheimer hung out with Einstein later in life, so I'm actually guessing that scene is maybe the ending scene of the movie.
It might be like the looking back on what his legacy is, because like
I don't
the
know.
famous thing about Oppenheimer is that he was aware of his own legacy, right? Everybody knows the quote, "Now I am become death, destroyer of worlds." Like he was
Right.
aware that he made this
Yeah.
weapon
But also,
that
I
is
love,
going to
even in that
ruin.
moment,
Yeah,
you couldn't just say, I did a bad thing. Like, it's so fucking pretentious, dude. It's not
Well-
like this was the 1700s. I don't know. That quote
To
is
it-
so silly to me.
to
Like,
it-
he sat down and wrote that shit out. and
of
thought
course,
it,
of
punched
course
it
he
up.
did. Of course he did. It's
Why not?
the like next to like
It's momentous.
next to Neil Armstrong's quote, which 100% was like written and
That
poured
was
over,
pre-written, yeah.
of course, by like dozens of people, I assume. Like this is the other most significant moment in human history, probably. So like,
Right.
of course, he sat down and thought of how to like communicate.
winging
like-
it.
right? Like it's a pretentious ass quote, but it also conveys the weight of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a super crazy significant thing that they
I
did.
just like the idea of him
building the
coming in and he's
bomb.
like, ooh, my bad. Like,
Right, like you knew what this
Winging
was
it.
from jump, dude. Like don't like be like I just now realized.
It's-
Oh my god, what?
I guess that's what I'm getting at. Is
what
it
have I
feels like
wrought?
hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he knew from
This
jump that he was
trailer-
making an atomic bomb.
This trailer does do a good job at like kind of showing you the psychological process of like, you know, it starts with him being like, listen, it's either us or the Nazis build this thing. And you're like, yeah, when you put it that way,
Yeah.
you know, and then by the end you can tell like the pure horror of this situation.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. What's funny is Oppenheimer, this movie, I was not that excited for when I first heard about it. And every trailer has made me get more excited for a movie that I'm pretty sure will mostly just be a bunch of eggheads.
It's just
going
going
to
to be people talking in rooms. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it'll go to one like shockingly practical explosion effect, which I know he did it practically. I've read that as well because of course he did.
course he
Meaning,
did.
please tell me. Meaning he
didn't
tested
set
a
off an
nuke?
actual nuke.
Right, he actually-
No, he's so sick. dude.
No
He
one said
detonated
that
an
he-
actual nuke.
He practically recreated a nuke, which could mean anything because like so did Terminator 2, you know, but like I'm guessing he went above and beyond because he's Christopher
Yeah.
Nolan.
Right, he probably bought like 1,000 pounds of TNT.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Fucking blew
so,
a crater in the desert.
Yeah, he
Fucking
killed a lot
rad.
of fucking
A
salamanders.
lot of
and shit.
Gila monsters were blown up
Yeah.
for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But the point being that like these trailers are doing a really fucking good
This
job.
movie looks good. Like Nolan is good. I like his movie. We rip on him.
I like Nolan.
But I
I mean,
generally
I-
like his movies. Yeah.
I rewatched Tenet, and that movie
Tenet
I
is
could
garbage.
Not,
Tenet is bad.
I couldn't even.
That's
I
Never
shut it
saw
off.
Yeah.
It's bad.
anything that's the thing is I think he's at his best when he's actually doing the egghead shit. I think
Yeah.
his best movies are things like Interstellar and Inception and
Yeah.
you
I
know,
love the
like,
Prestige.
I like Dunkirk.
I think
Prestige,
the
yes.
Prestige is my favorite of
Yeah.
his films. It's among my favorite movies, probably in the top
Yeah.
50. But I
I
also
really-
agree
And
that Interstellar is really good.
Like
I unironically
it's
love
not.
Memento still too. I think
Memento's a good ass movie. Yeah, that's a
It's
really
not
good movie.
trying to be spectacular in terms of like, oh, the explosions or anything like that. I mean, I guess there's the one, but the other thing is it's seemingly unburdened by like it's not probably going to have a plot twist of any kind. You know,
Right.
so
No, it's
he's
pretty
just doing a
A to
straight
B. Yeah.
like
He's got-
what if
yeah.
kind of thing.
Nolan has the Denis Villeneuve thing where, like,
Right.
I look, Dune, Blade Runner, these big things, they're fun, but I like them when they do smaller things best. Fucking
Right.
Insomnia.
Well-
yeah, like you mentioned, The Prestige, where, and then honestly, this feels smaller, like Dunkirk, where it's like you guys are saying, no twists, no like big, stupid, high concept ideas, no Batman. It's just, like this is probably going to be good only because this is what works best for him.
I read a thing that said Cillian Murphy responded to some press by saying that he was like, oh, this is the best Nolan script I've read, which
Oh, wow.
might just be press, but I mean he's been in like every movie
Yeah,
of his, so
Right.
I read another one where he said that he's just been taking any role that Nolan offers him with the hope of eventually being the lead in a Nolan movie.
Yeah.
right.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because it's like Jim
I'm
Cameron
gonna
being
start
like,
doing
this is
that.
the best Terminator, every single Terminator. Like, you don't know. It'd be weird if he was like, this script, it was all right.
Also,
You know.
just real quick, it's pronounced Killian. I know Dave and I have fucked that up in the past, and
Oh,
we
okay.
got plenty of comments
sure.
about it. So
I'm not going to correct myself. I'm just calling that right now.
There's a lot of things in the world, man.
yeah,
And
I
I
know.
feel like Abe will want to mention a particularly ill-fated TV show. Am I wrong about that, Abe? Do I need to mention it?
Oh
What's
yeah,
that?
yeah. That's you should mention. Yeah.
The trailer just reminded me a lot of the feelings I felt when I watched Manhattan, which
Manhattan,
Abe and I
yeah.
always fawn over as like a show that should have been or should have kept going. Just a great first season.
It's great. Yeah.
I'll watch that.
If
Daniel Stern as a brilliant physicist, which is funny
can't-
to me.
it's
It
it's
works.
an amazing cast. It's the other thing is it's my favorite aspect about it is it came out during like when did it come out? It came out
Like
in
mid-
2000. Yeah,
It was.
yeah,
I remember it was on the
2014.
air. Like, I think it was 2014. I remember it was on the air when
And-
we moved to LA for Cracked.
It was this real awkward time because it was in the middle of like it's like the Game of Thrones boom, like where everyone was like every channel is gonna try to make a
Mad Men.
quality
Yeah.
programming. Yeah. And this one was made by I like feel like they only made this WGN America. That is the original network of Manhattan. That's hilarious to me. I can't name another WGN
Everyone was
America.
taking their swings, you know. It's
Yeah. And it's just that this is one that I thought like at least the first season is fucking spectacular anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, it was sort of at the beginning of streaming prestige shows, right? Like
Right. Exactly.
Mad Men had
Which
come
came
out,
on
and
the
then
heels of the last writer's strike, so hopefully we'll get some like weird networks, some scrappy networks take their opening after this writer's strike wraps up, and get some Mad Men's or some Breaking Bads, you know.
Mhm.
well, did they?
Yeah.
That'd be
no.
nice.
Yeah. Anyway, I was gonna
Fingers
say, did they
crossed.
specifically do that because the rates were less advantageous? Anyway,
Oh,
It's always about money.
I don't know if that's true or not.
You're right, Tom.
follow the money.
Follow the money.
Well,
Save
speaking
the
of
world.
writers, this next one's called Poor Things. This is
Yorgos.
that lobster. It's that lobster.
It's not.
Wait, what?
It's
That
the
Yorgos.
director
Uh,
directed The
yeah.
Lobster.
Oh, I was like, I gotta look at the doc now because Dave is mystifying me. It's what Yorgos Lanthimos, something like that. What's
Yeah.
his name? Yeah.
Yorgos
Yeah.
Lanthimos.
It's lobster and the favorite. As I put in this note, I like the favorite. I didn't like the lobster, so
Oh,
I don't know,
okay.
man.
Yeah, same. The lobster was too dry for me, and Arch, and then the favorite I thought was great. Like,
Yeah,
ooh.
I also thought the lobster wasn't very like deep either. Like I thought it was just a lot of like fucking
Obvious.
yeah. It's a lot of razzle dazzle, but not much actually.
But
it
this-
didn't have anything to say, you know.
But this Poor Things, that is, seems to be a like Terry Gilliam inspired like magical realist or surrealist, one might argue.
Yeah.
Look at like what seems to be, because it's a teaser, so there's only like a few lines of dialogue, seems to be like a post-apocalyptic or like some different type of society where I want to say they're gods or they're robots, because at one point she has
it's Emma Stone has been brought back to life by a mad scientist played by Willem Dafoe. That's the synopsis,
right?
More or
but
less.
like, what's their situation? We don't know, because it looks so unfamiliar
Right,
and
it's a
dreamlike
real
to us.
heightened reality. It looks
So
like
if
it's a real
people are into
fantastic
visuals-
world.
It's
Yeah,
a big
they might be into
fucking swing. Yeah, it's that thing. It's Michelle Gondry or Terry Gilliam, as you mentioned, where it's like these are huge swings, and like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This looks good. I think this looks good, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
I'm intrigued.
yeah.
I laughed at the joke at the end where Emma Stone slaps Mark Ruffalo and he takes a long time to say ow.
Yeah, I always like the ruffles and things.
Yeah,
It's
Ruffalo's
nice
great,
to see him in
yeah.
this.
Yeah, he's extremely likable.
Yeah,
Like the
it's
buffalo.
I don't know.
Well, 'cause
This is one of
he's
those
angry all the
directors.
time. I just find that so charming.
That's so charming, so cute.
This is one of those directors that, like, despite how I feel about them, I'm just glad they exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't need to like someone to be glad that they're making the movies they're making, because these are, very original movies. So
Whereas Turtle Top, you're like, no,
no,
Yeah,
I'm not
No,
happy.
Turtle.
I'm unhappy by your.
Give me
making
National
films.
Treasure 3 or nothing at all.
I swear to Christ that is yes.
Yes.
Hard
Double
agree.
down. Hard agree. All right. Sorry, John, if you listen to
He
this.
should be making only national treasures.
Ideally.
But
Yeah,
he's an artist, man. He's got to let his voice
No.
out.
I refuse.
All right.
All right, let's
Disagree.
Let's move on.
All right, Run Rabbit Run, starring Shiv.
Starring Shiv, Sarah Snook.
From Succession. If you don't watch Succession,
Yeah.
that's-
Tom, you're
a
saying we had this
character.
conversation again. I didn't.
I felt like when we covered
She's
Predestination.
Australian, really?
Yeah, which is a movie she was in the mid-teens
That's
that
very true.
you should definitely go back and watch if you
a
haven't
lot
seen
of
it. It's quite
Australians,
good.
man.
Yeah.
They're amongst
She's
us.
great in it. So I'm into this movie just based on her presence, because I haven't watched Succession, but she was so good in that movie Predestination that I will watch.
Yeah,
I will watch anything she's in.
She's very good in Succession as well.
I expected as much. I just haven't watched it.
Yeah, and this comes from a director who's done a lot of TV, Handmaid's Tale, a bunch of stuff I hadn't actually heard of. But like, I don't know. This looks. I mean, it looks kind of like a standard thriller, right? It's like the little girl is possessed by the dead sister or something.
Right. She starts pretending to be Sarah Snook's dead sister who died when she was a little girl, and it's this traumatic story involving a rabbit, and like
Right.
the trailer gets a bit of a Babadook vibe with me.
Yeah.
It's
little
similar to
creepy.
that
It's a
if
mother,
you've seen the
daughter,
Babadook.
Drama
yeah.
metaphor. Right. There will something
Right.
Yeah.
resolve.
Which,
But-
I don't know. It makes
This
it.
is a. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say it makes it. I'm a little less excited about this. Like, I'm excited about who was in it, but like the fact that it looks like a story that they basically just like kind of reskinned, and they were just like, what if the demon was just like the kid? And that's already kind of derivative.
We've seen
the
that a
other
lot,
thing, the big thing is that it's almost like SNL made a sketch that is, what if Netflix were to try to make a A24 film?
Right.
Because it's just an A24 film.
So
and I understand that that's how you make money. Netflix is just like, let's get that A24 money, but
Yeah, this is a gut feeling that, like, I agree with you about this trailer, what it looks like. My gut feeling is, I don't know why, but this feels like one of those trailers that I'm going to hand wave, much like Predestination, actually, that'll turn out to be like more original than it actually is, or actually it seems. You know what I mean? Where like I'm getting vibes that maybe this is going to be better than it looks. Is my point.
we will
so I
see.
am curious about it.
yeah, it could be.
I think that's
But it's
where
hard
I've been
because
quiet as I've been burned on trailers exactly like this way too many times lately, specifically. But where it feels like it all comes down to the execution. I don't know. Or, people tell me, Megan was actually good. I'm like, well, who knew? And then I saw Smile, which I thought was interesting based on the trailer, and it's such a It Follows ripoff. Well, everything ripoff, as you guys covered.
Man, I hated both of those movies.
Yeah, and everything's just been, my partner and I, horror is their favorite. We watch a horror every Friday night, and we've been on a bad streak of like, man, the trailer looked good. And it wasn't bad, it was just dull. So I'm worried it'll be road or cookie cutter, but if it's good, it'll be good. It's really hard to tell with horror trailers, I find.
I was about to say, are horror trailers the hardest trailers to determine quality from? They might be, because the trailer, it's kind of the same with comedies, right? Where they go with the lowest hanging fruit for the trailer,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or in a comedy that's mediocre, you might still hit 3 funny jokes. It's 90 minutes long or whatever. You put those in the trailer and your batting average seems way higher than it actually is.
That's true. Yeah.
I'd say it's Little Mermaid trailers is the toughest one to determine, because like no one knows if that's going to be the greatest film ever made.
Right.
We just don't know.
Or just one of
There's
the
no
greatest
way.
films ever made. Like it's between those two though. Those are the outcomes.
Yeah. So
exactly.
what if we took one of the greatest films ever made and made it 45 minutes longer?
Yeah.
Yes.
With photorealistic fish and a crab.
So
That sounds like
excited
a
for
good
that.
idea.
I'm so excited.
Well, next trailer is for The Crowded Room, which I would argue is a terrible name for anything.
Yeah.
It just sounds like, I'm nothing appealing about A Crowded Room, if you ask me.
I assumed he was going to have, what's it called, differentiated identity disorder or whatever. I thought it was going to be a mess.
So did I.
Davis
So did
just
I.
being obtuse.
I suspect that might still be the case, Michael, based on the trailer I
was
saw.
hoping
But they're
it's
saving
just
it
having
for
a room.
I
Yeah.
just don't like the title because the idea of a crowded room does not appeal to
Look,
me.
I'm just hoping it's just like, well, there's nothing exciting about A Crowded Room.
It's
I'm
like
sorry.
saying like, I don't like Gremlins. Why? I don't know what that is. What is a
Just-
gremlin?
no,
Collateral.
there's just,
That's like a bank word. I know.
That's a
I'm
weird-
sorry. It's just, there's nothing excited about it. It's like naming a movie The Mall Bathroom. It's just
Sure.
like, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
The
Like, that's-
Room. There's
The
two
Room.
movies
There's
of
two
interest
movies called
The
The
Room.
Room.
Right.
This room is crowded.
And they're
So
both
that's
equally
for sure.
bad.
Yeah. Anyway.
I said this in the notes, and Tom had a very good rebuttal, but I'm still going to say it. I think Tom Holland is going to struggle with his little baby face, because whenever I'm watching him in this, I'm like, are you supposed to be 30 or 12? He's just got that. He's got that little guy face.
I
He
can
does.
see
dude.
thinking that, but I will say, yeah, and he's going to have it for a while, you can tell. Like, he's just going to age, like, lines will appear on his face, but he'll still look young. He has one of those faces.
Right.
He'll look unnatural.
He's gonna age like Jamie Bell, I think.
There you go. But I suspect, I mean, just from the work he's done, I do think he's really talented. He's a standout from among the Marvel cast. And I, like, Spider-Man's my all-time favorite, and I actually do care about who they cast as Spider-Man, and I think he was a really good pick. I
He's a good
suspect
pick.
he might be a Robert Pattinson, where, like, once he's free, he'll do a bunch of interesting shit.
He'll be a fucking weirdo.
and
He
I'll
did
say
do
I
he did
was-
do a weird ass
I mean,
movie
he-
with Robert Pattinson.
I was
The
like,
devil all the
babyface,
time.
Devil all the time,
babyface,
yeah.
babyface. But then that last shot where he does, "This is my face when I snap and go crazy." I was like, "That's a good face." I'm very excited.
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
this.
I think he's actually gonna have a good career.
I think
He's
so.
done. His
I don't think-
choices are very like. I like that he knows he's at early in his career and he can like kind of do like a Jake Gyllenhaal thing where he's like, at any time I will, in 20 years even, I will still be hot as fuck. So I can still do like superhero shit or whatever hotness they want me to do. In the meantime, though, I can take big swings on like whatever that one really the one that sucked. He was in one where like he could see like sound or some shit.
Chaos
Oh
walking.
yeah, that
total
was
flop, totally mediocre. But
Yeah,
like
there's some misses.
There
that
was
is
a,
an
that was
idea
a bad movie.
that when
yeah.
you are Spider-Man and one of the top billing in the world for actors, like you can choose anything and you choose that fucking thing, that means you really just want to try to think outside the box. That will be
Yeah.
rewarded, I think.
It's
You know
like
what? I
Eisenberg,
think it
where
is.
I'm like, he's not even my favorite actor in terms of the texture of his acting, but I'm like, you pick good shit, man. You're a good
Yeah.
picker.
He's a good picker.
I think you guys are spot on. He's going to be a very good weirdo, and he is a good actor. I do think that mainstream Hollywood is going to be I'm thinking about like Uncharted, where it's like, I don't know, like him as that character, it felt a little off. Does that make sense?
It didn't feel like the video game character, but I accepted him within the movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It might just take a few rounds of this for him to shake off the association with
Spider-Man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It takes a couple movies.
And just
to make
grow
it
up a little
in my
bit.
mind.
But he's
Yeah.
he's
Lose
absolutely
babyface.
talented.
Did we
and
say-
he absolutely has good taste?
Did we say what this movie is about, or the show?
I don't care. What is it
It's
about?
a
Big crowded
It's like
room,
a
baby.
It's like a room.
He's being interrogated, or rather diagnosed by Amanda Seyfried, who appears to be some sort of a medical professional, but he's being diagnosed in a interrogation room, and it's related to something that happened at a house he was living in. There's apparently a bunch of people he lived with, and they can't find them, and then he starts talking about losing time. So there's an implication that maybe he's murdered all these people, but like Michael and I were saying, it seems like it's possible those people don't exist. They're just different facets of his personality.
Yes.
It does look interesting, and I do like both of those actors. I think they're both good. So
Yes, it's a miniseries, and it is at least the writer that's credited for all 10 episodes is also the writer of A Beautiful Mind and Batman and Robin and Cinderella Man. So,
two Russell
I don't
Crowes
know,
and a
man.
Batman. All right.
yeah. And Jonah Hex? No, he was the producer in Jonah Hex. Point being that there's literally no telling
Right.
what this is going to
I
be.
will say-
But I'm guessing it's going to be weird mind shit, like you're saying.
Jonah Hex is like the black spot, right? Like that's when you see that on
Yeah,
somebody's resume, you're like, oh no.
I Am Legend is on Angels and Demon, The Fifth Wave, Transformers: The Last Night. These are all writing
terrible
credits.
films. Yeah.
The Dark Tower.
These are all bad films. These are all bad films.
Yeah. So, and they created Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard. So, I don't know, man. Like, I'm still curious. This is a neat trailer, but who can say?
Indeed.
I mean, it's your show.
Yeah, let's move on.
No. All right. What's next? Flamin' Hot.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm
This
taking a brave and courageous stance, which is that, and I know I've heard Dave rail on it too, so I think he agrees. It's just the principle, like, it looks charming, it looks fine, it looks good, or like it would be fun.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch any movie about a product or brand. I reject this wave of how we're going to mine IP from brands. No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's about the making of Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Yeah.
But like the trailer, sort of like the best thing I can compare it to relate to what Michael is talking about is Air, the movie that just came out about Nike Airs
Also,
or Air Jordans.
Tetris.
Or Tetris, I think, has a more interesting story and is a little bit more valid. But like Air, I think, is the worst example, right? Because there is no story to the making of Air Jordan. There was a guy that was like, maybe we should get the hottest college basketball star to endorse a shoe as he's moving into the NBA. They said, yeah, that's a great idea. Seems like we can make him a lot of money. They did that, and now the shoe exists. There's no reason to make a movie about that. And like this trailer is about the making of Flaming Hot Cheetos, and it's a 2.5-minute trailer, and the first minute and a half is just that. It's just like, hey, you guys love Cheetos, right? It's just really brand focused. Right. It takes it that long to get to the actual hook of the story, which is that Flamin' Hot Cheetos were invented by a janitor that was working at Frito-Lay.
Right, which is interesting
cool.
if it's
That's
true.
cool. That's a good story. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good.
it
That's what you start with in the trailer. But what Michael was saying, where Hollywood has sort of turned to brands just to find IP because they love intellectual property that has brand recognition because that's all they care about. It's like, oh, well, if people recognize the brand, they'll buy tickets on opening weekend. It doesn't matter if the movie's good. So they're just buying up stories about recognizable brands. So this trailer is totally focused on that so hard that it doesn't even realize it has a good story to tell. So it doesn't even reveal that the inventor was a janitor working there until the trailer is almost over.
Right. And it's also just I just hate this fucking trend.
Me too.
I
really
also
hate it.
I also gotta say this style, because this style seems to be going hand in hand with this type of movies, which is playful comedy.
Adam McKay.
This has yes.
It's very Big Short.
It has the modern version of "That's me." You probably wonder how I got here. Like, it's got that tone where he's just like, "There's more to this story," where they're talking to the camera and they're like, "This wacky zany story about this fucking brand that we worked on." And it's like I don't appreciate the tone. I don't appreciate the subject matter. I don't appreciate how fucking many of these are now existing. It's just I reject all of it. And that doesn't mean like the individual ones might be good, you know? This might be very good. It doesn't matter.
There's one in production right now that Jerry Seinfeld is involved with, because it's always big news when Seinfeld gets involved in a movie because he's only ever done one before, B movie. Never does movies.
And it was so good that everyone's like, we got it.
Right.
Let's
But
Jerry's that's my material. That's all I have.
Don't steal my jokes. The project he's currently attached to is one about the making of Pop-Tarts.
Right.
And there's
He
no
has a
story
Pop-Tart
there.
Joke.
There's no story there.
Oh my god. I could talk about this for hours, but we won't. Yeah, there's no story there. He just has a bit
About a
he's
famous
talked
bit
about
about
it.
them.
There's several videos about it online on YouTube. You can just search for Jerry Seinfeld Pop-Tart. He has a bit about a running joke about he like thinks his perfect joke, the joke that he wrote, that is like the perfect Jerry Seinfeld joke and has all the formula and how he crafted
and it's
it.
on brand for him and everything. Yeah.
And he's just like, and it's like shit like, I don't know, it's funny word, Pop-Tart, Pop-Tart. You know, it's just a funny name. And it's just like that bullshit. I don't know. I'm also not a huge fan of Seinfeld,
Well,
so it's hard for me.
Gaffigan's going to do the Hot Pocket movie, and we're going to have like an extended snack universe.
Right. I hope there's at least an interesting story behind Hot Pocket, because when this movie was announced, this Pop-Tart movie, I looked up the story of its invention, and there is literally no story. It's the same as Air, where it's just like, they thought they should make Pop-Tarts, they tried it out, it worked.
And not even a plucky, it's like 18 business people
exactly
discuss the product till they arrived at work.
Yeah, it's not some person struggling to get by didn't invent Pop-Tarts in their garage. It was created by a brand to be a successful product, and it was. Hooray.
All right.
Like, how is that a movie anyway?
What if you all right, so they can't do it on Flaming Hot, but what if you did like the equivalent of like the formation of Cheetos, and you treated it like Chernobyl, right? Everything is just serious, and you get into the lives of each of the people and like the tragedy of making a Cheeto kind of thing. That I'd watch.
Food is killing us, right? Like,
oh no,
cheese dust rains from the sky, and you're like, what is it? The factory exploded.
People taking off their glasses and glancing right across camera and talking about Cheetos. That's a movie I would watch.
But I do want to watch Chernobyl Cheetos. 100%.
Cheat Noble.
100% behind that. Fuck.
Cheeto
yes.
Noble.
All right.
There it is.
Next trailer, Gremlins, Secrets of the Mogwai. I have conflicting thoughts on this.
This is an
What do you
animated
guys-
show on HBO Max.
Yes. Thank you for pointing that out.
Mm-hmm. It seems to be is it a prequel or is it a sequel? It's hard to tell.
I don't know. I do think like the original Gremlins, they sort of do this thing the thing that a lot of 80s movies do, where it's like, is it Chinatown? Mm-hmm. That is, yeah, and it's like mysterious Chinese old man, and then let's have these white people carry the movie. So the fact that this seems to be like Asian characters is a good instinct for continuing Gremlins. That said, I don't know, man. Animated, it looks kind of scary, but I like the visceral look of the original, where it's like
that was so. I totally agree. That was so. There was something elemental to the designs of them, and it sort of needs to exist in a physical space. Like the Gremlins are real creepy puppet designs, and like their eggs are all slimy and gross, and it's dark and violent. And it's a weird vibe. Also, the animation in this trailer fucking sucks. Like this looks cheap as hell.
It does. It looks like they didn't want to commit. It's like if they did a new Dark Crystal, which they did, but they made it animated, where it's like, no, puppets.
Yeah.
It's a puppet movie.
Yeah.
You know, like it's that, where it's like, it just feels like they're like dipping their toes in the water, you know?
It looks like they decided to do it animated to save money on all the practical effects that would be required to do a Gremlins movie.
Right.
And it also looks like they opted for the cheapest, like lowest resolution animation, like computer generated animation as possible, because it's just sort of smeared with this weird stylistic filter, which is like the curse that Into the Spider-Verse has brought upon us all is that animated movies, we're getting crops of them now that seem to think they can be successful but just by putting a weird filter on the animation or doing something weird about it. So like this one,
if you watch explainer vids of how Into the Spider-Verse was made, no, my friend, like they like programmed their own individual apps that go in and like simulate line weight and like curate various styles that actually exist in comics art. It's like meticulously.
Oh yeah,
detail-oriented.
you can
You cannot
tell
just add a Photoshop filter, or it looks like that's what you did.
exactly. It looks like this Gremlin show. Like you can tell the difference between Spider-Verse and like movies that are copying Spider-Verse. It's like, oh, you just did this way worse, and that's what this show looks like. The show looks so cheap to me. That's all I could think of during this trailer is how bad it looked. So I like barely absorbed the trailer. I know James Hong is in it, and that's great. But like, it looks it looks shitty. Like it looks like they didn't care enough about it to give it anything.
Right. I think the writing's probably going to be good.
Hopefully,
I just think that the rest of the movie, it just, I don't know, man. It's fucking Warner Brothers, you know, and their weird whatever's going on behind the scenes. It just feels so non-committal. That like this is gonna pass me by, and then they're gonna be like, well, I guess no hope for new Gremlins, and it's like, well, you know, maybe make a actual fucking real go at
maybe
it.
make a real attempt, at rebooting Gremlins instead of whatever the hell this is. Like,
I don't know. I hope it's good though. I just I don't know, man.
It's the other thing that I think is weird. I mean, you're absolutely right about the goo or the physical space concepts of it, but what I'm interested in is that Gremlins is well known for being one of those films during the time of the PG-13 rating where they were like too scary for PG, not graphic enough for R. This movie, granted, they could be hiding some of the big stuff, but like the fact that like Gremlins goes far enough to be like, yeah, let's put one of these fuckers in a microwave and pop them, you know, like that kind of shit I don't see happening in this like animation style. So prove me wrong, movie, but I think they're probably going closer towards the PG, and it's more about the cute Mogwai, and the Gremlins are there to be like mischievous little scamps who are up to no good and kind of like the equivalent of like the hyenas in Lion King or something like that. And it's just like, well, the whole point of Gremlins was that they're kind of demons, right?
Right. Like it's intrinsic to Gremlins. It's gnarly. Like even the second one, which is, you know, a broad parody of the first film, there's still gnarly shit in it. Like the Gremlins get electrocuted and the brain Gremlin's skin melts off his bones in the finale. Like it's a fucking gnarly movie.
Yeah, and I have a feeling this is going to be a continued thing because I forgot I researched this a little. They're making Gremlins 3, and I believe the people behind that kind of hand-waved Gremlins 2, which was a direct response to the studios trying to make Gremlins more of a kids thing. And so I think Gremlins 3 will be the unironic version of Gremlins 2, like the version that doesn't understand what Gremlins 2 was saying. This one, I will say, there's at least one episode of this show directed by Joe Dante, so he's at least associated with this one. Yeah. Whereas I think Gremlins 3 is out of his hands. So like this, out of the two Gremlins things that might be happening, this at least has a slightly better shot.
This is the one he preferred, apparently. So
yeah. Although I will say the other Gremlins is a ways out, you know. So who knows? Who knows what's happening there? Maybe just don't make more Gremlins stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, we're kind of all set. We were all set with Gremlins. We didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We got Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
you know?
we got the Hulkster in that one. I don't hate the idea of more Gremlins, but we didn't need it.
Yeah, unless you're gonna do it right. I don't know. Final trailer, best for last, folks. Back on the strip. This is Magic Mike.
It's old Magic
but
Mike.
old.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's the Wild Hogs
Old
version of
Magic
Magic
Mike.
Mike.
Yeah, which right away,
It's
obviously,
strippers
great
that are
idea.
like, just one more job, one more hour. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
one job. Yeah.
And it's got fucking Wesley Snipes as the Magic Mike. It's directed by the guy who played Preach in Don't Be a Menace. I don't know. He's done a lot of
Sure.
stuff behind the camera, but that's like I was looking at his career and I was like, oh, it's Preach. Terrible trailer. I want to watch this movie.
I don't think it was
That's,
a terrible trailer. It wasn't great,
Terrible
but
strong. Yeah.
I
Alright.
do want to watch this movie. This movie looks
Corny? Or like the cheesiness
Corny,
comes
cheesy,
through.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. It
I mean, there's
looks
like
corny.
an ass sex joke where they look at the camera and I was like, that's weird.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
Tiffany Haddish thing was weird.
Yeah.
It's like something in my back door, and then literally spike camera. Like
Yep.
in
Yeah.
a movie where it doesn't feel. I could be wrong because it's just a trailer. It doesn't feel like that will be happening a lot from the trailer. Am I right?
That's what
Yeah.
I want to talk about is because I bring up Don't Be a Menace because this person, this director, has also been in a lot of like spoof comedies. And so I'm like, I wonder if this is going to be like that tone because that would be incredible.
If it's like movie
I'm-
43, yeah.
Yeah, if it's like, I don't know. I just don't know what it's going to be, but I'm very
Oh,
excited.
well, also we skipped. Sorry, I think we're bearing the lead in the sense that it's about a young man who wants to be a clown or stage magician in Vegas, so he moves to Vegas, and he gets the job as a stripper because the implication is he just has a huge dick. Like,
Right.
I liked that scene. I was like, that was well deployed.
Yeah, you're right. It's, I don't know. It looks fun.
Yeah, Wesley
Yeah.
Snipes looks at a huge dick
And
in
is
this
like,
trailer
"We're back
and
in
goes,
business."
"We're gonna make so much
We're gonna
money."
make $1 million.
A clown
He's
stick.
like, we're getting our old strip group back together, and also
It's
that
like-
guy because his dick is huge.
But why does it have a little clown wig on the dick? It's weird.
Hey man, once you're a clown, you're forever a
That's
clown.
right. The pubes
Yeah.
frizz up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this, I don't know. Sometimes a movie is just joy, you know?
Yeah, it's the joyful, touching stripper clown movie.
Hey, crazier things have happened, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm looking up who wrote it or the co-writer. Not much. So with this, I don't know, man. I have high hopes for this. Back on the strip. All right. Well, that's it for trailers. Should we thank some more producers and get into stories?
I think we probably should, Dave.
All right. Big ol' thank you to Deborah is awesome, Barbara is great, and cancer can go to hell.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dracula, the bus driving vampire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Driftless, a.k.a. Gooch Cock. Gooch Cock. That's a
Gooch
little
Cock.
Friday night joke.
Nice
thank you to-
cock.
Thank you to E.T., the extravagant terrestrial.
Thank you.
Thank you to Evil Ed 209.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Thank you.
Thank you to Funky J Mostly Comes Out at Night. Mostly.
Thank you.
Thank you to Glitterous, CFO of Michael Shannon's Chocolate Factory.
Thank you.
Thank you to Heathcliff's Helping Handfuls.
Thank
you.
All right, let me jump in here. Thank you to Ombre, the Mexican-American ninja, says, Mabel, step on me.
Thank
Thank you
you.
to ImpossibleWorlds.net. Issue 1 is now free. Issue 2 releases in June.
Thank you.
Thank you to James Cameron's Prolapse Locomotive.
Thank you.
Thank you to Chris Shanovich.
Thank
Thank you to Look Bomb on a podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick Chill.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mercurial Oz.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mike the Lurker.
Thank you.
Thank you to musical guest Rob Ritchie.
Thank you.
Thank you to No One Can Hear You Scream and Space McNulty.
Thank you. For the record, Gooch Cock, real name of an actor.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
it up.
What movie was that? what
First
the hell?
name? Or
American Ninja.
American
first name
Ninja,
Gooch,
that's right.
last name cock.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
is it all one word?
No, it's 2 words.
Guichkoock.
Oh,
That is the
I'm sure
name.
it's not pronounced the way we're pronouncing it, but you look at it and you tell me that's not
Gooch Cock.
100% Gooch Cock.
Yeah, your brain refuses to decode it in any other way.
Maybe Gweech Kook.
No.
No, it's
Gooch Cock.
Goochcock.
You get the fuck out of here.
News stories. So we got some delays, obviously, because
Sure.
of the writer's strike. We talked about it last week in terms of what it fucking means. I guess we can talk about what it means for delays now. Blade, which I would argue is just another excuse for delaying Blade, right? Because it's been delayed like 6 times. Stranger Things.
Thank God.
Yep, Stranger Things, Succession. I heard what's it called? Fucking
Evil.
Evil. Yep, that's one.
A bunch
the,
of shows.
Adam Scott. What the
Severance.
fuck? Why can't I? Severance. Jesus.
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
the one that hurts the most for me. I like that. I was into it.
I'm not a fan of
the
Severance,
season
but it
2,
seems
or
like
the
I'm the
season
only
1.
person.
I thought the season finale cliffhanger, although I did predict what it was going to be because I really like shows like that and thought about it, a lot in my off time till I figured it out. So that doesn't mean it's like a telegraph too much, but the twist, I was like, yeah. That
Yeah,
makes me
see-
want to watch the second season for sure.
That actually, I had the opposite effect. I don't want to spoil
Did you
anything, but
predict
the
it, though,
finale
in
of
your head?
Severance. Well, I predicted it in that it's felt very mystery box, which is, they'll never get off the island. Like that's the vibe I'm getting from that show, where it's gonna be like, oh yeah, this can be 3 seasons or 6 seasons because we'll just keep finding reasons for it to not progress. Does that make sense?
I mean, it
That's
could
my
or
fear.
it could not, or I feel like it's not. It's too soon to tell. But yeah, that would suck. That always
Yeah.
sucks. But there are. Well, I'm trying to think of one recently that wrapped up in a satisfying way. That is like a trippy
That's the
sci-fi
thing.
mindfuck. There
There's
haven't been
very
many.
few.
Yeah.
So like I love the offer of Severance. I love it. It's a horrifying idea. They're exploring it in really cool ways.
Yeah.
But I'm getting that vibe. I'm getting that vibe where I'm like I think the only one that satisfied me was like fucking what was it called? Devs.
Yeah.
Because that was self-contained,
Yeah, it was a
they
complete
had an
idea.
ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever it's like, we'll stretch it out, whenever it's Westworld or this, it's just like, I have a feeling you're going to fucking
Yeah, that's
really piss me off.
That's actually what turned me off of Yellow Jackets, is when Yellow Jackets revealed that it was going to keep going. I was like, oh, I don't like
completely
this.
instantly,
Yep.
same experience. Instantly,
Yep.
it's like, zero interest now.
Yeah,
I
immediately
Westworld.
lost all interest in the
Clearly
show.
a Westworld. Yeah.
I was like, this felt like a limited series. It's not.
broke
Oh
it.
no,
You
it's
ruined
gonna
it.
become because then it becomes because there's like 2 ways to go with that. There's the Lost way, which you mentioned, just the mystery box after mystery box, or there's the soap opera way, which I'm
Right.
just it works for some people. I just don't care.
Yeah, and I honestly think Severance should have done the miniseries of it all. But like what the other thing that bothered me about the finale, again, without spoiling anything, is apparently originally there was one other episode after that episode, and they were like, "Ooh, it's juicier to deny that episode," and that bothers me because that's like, then you just told it incomplete
Yeah.
to make a cliffhanger. So again, Severance is very good. It's very good. Can't deny that. I'm just getting those flags.
Great
I
direction
don't know.
from Ben Stiller.
Yeah, very good. But yeah, delayed. They're all delayed. The Stranger Things kids are going to be fucking 30
Yeah.
for the last
I
Yeah,
imagine
so-
this is going to hit the bear as well. Do we know about that?
probably.
I guess
I assume
imagine it's
anything,
gonna hit
yeah.
everything, but
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we knew this was going to happen.
I mean, yay, good strike, yeah, solidarity.
Get paid.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I mean, they should get paid. So what are you going to do? You make your own Succession?
Impossible.
Oh wait, did I say Succession is delayed? That doesn't make any sense. Succession, is it really delayed?
Succession.
No, it's not. It's ending.
Yeah.
Severance is ending.
Yeah, I was gonna
Or
say.
delayed.
Yeah.
Although
but you could like film your own.
the Deadline article that you sent said
Yeah, it has
HBO
Succession. That doesn't make
delayed
any
production
fucking
on
sense.
Succession. And Barry. I thought Barry was over after. Like, don't we have like 2 episodes of
Yeah,
each of those
Barry
shows
and
left?
Succession are both ending this year.
Does that mean they're not gonna? Their status is under evaluation. So I don't know.
Maybe
what
they
Does
need to
that mean
finish
the final
production on them or
episodes are
something.
not actually?
Oh wait, this is the
filmed,
wrong.
or-
This is the wrong fucking article. I posted the wrong
Oh,
goddamn article.
Oh yeah, you posted
This is
the wrong
about
article.
this is about fucking coronavirus. You guys hear it in real time. The wrong goddamn article.
Oh,
so
that's
that's
funny.
why.
Nice.
These
I
are
I was like
different
wondering,
delays.
and I was like coronavirus. I was
Yeah,
like,
I was
okay,
like,
that's
none
weird.
Of this makes any sense.
But I didn't look that this is Anyway,
All right,
that's
So, yeah.
terrible. Yeah,
Severance,
Bush League.
not Succession.
You
States.
miserable bastard, Dave.
You fuck. Listen, we have
You're
better
like,
news.
I heard Sopranos is not going to get a finale now. It's the writer's strike.
right. Sopranos is
all right.
out. Oh no, I've already seen it though.
Yeah, they're going to go back and remove it from the brain.
Yeah. Well, other news. Matthew McConaughey is starring in a movie from the director of Vast of Night. Has everybody here seen Vast of Night?
Holy shit! I'm
Yeah,
so excited
it's a
about
great
this.
movie.
Okay, good.
I think
we
Vast
covered
of
it.
Night. Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
Vast of Night. I will say is in the last 5 years one of the best directed things I've seen.
It really
Agreed.
is.
The
Really,
director,
truly is.
Insanely good at all of just pacing, editing, the thing fucking rips. And
Yeah.
then the fact that he's doing another thing and it's a crime genre, crime thriller.
Right.
Ooh, baby.
That he actually has
Yeah,
a
it's
budget
just-
now. Because, Vast of Night had a shoestring budget. It's still great.
Right.
So I'm just really excited to see what this guy does when he actually has money.
Yeah.
People listening, if you haven't watched Vast of Night, it's very good and it's very well made. And it's one of those movies that makes you go, oh, I can't wait till this person makes another movie.
Yeah.
You know? Also, look up the director. He looks like fucking Jim Henson.
He sure
looks like
does.
Oh,
a
nice.
mountain man.
Andrew
That's cool.
Patterson. Andrew Patterson.
He looks like,
is the name.
yeah, he looks like Hagrid,
That's what I'm
which is
talking
also
about.
exciting. Exciting in a
He
different
looks
way.
like a Hogwarts
But yeah,
film professor.
And
Yeah.
he was brought to you, the only reason that Vast of Night got, even shown around was Soderbergh, baby, another regional
Ooh.
filmmaker. I love Soderbergh for that reason. He always picks up random, filmmakers who are just I've been making films, but they're all just, in Texas, and no one really, they only debut in Texas, and then that's it.
Oh,
And-
shucks, Mr.
Right.
Steven.
Oh shucks, Mr. Steven. And then he comes up, he's like, I will make you
That's
an
a good
international
kid.
star.
Let me see that cock. It's huge. We're going to make millions.
We're gonna make millions.
Soderbergh!
Soderbergh likes, if you've ever watched interviews with him, this is a thing I learned when I was working at Collider. He always wears a really fanciful outfit to do interviews.
Oh, I love
Like,
that.
for instance,
Yeah.
Adam Driver's racing outfit from Logan Lucky is one
Yeah.
of the things. He wears crazy
Right.
outfits every
Nice.
time he gets interviewed.
Yeah,
That's
it's
wonderful.
just for interviews. It's a bit, because if you see photos of him on sets, it's a jeans and t-shirt. He's
Yep.
a jeans and t-shirt guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I want to note, by the way, because I just always feel joy when a director like this just gets something else. We never covered the fact that David Robert Mitchell is also finally making a third film.
Right.
That's the director of It Follows and Under the Silver Lake.
Right.
He's shooting it in IMAX. Which that alone, I'm like, fuck, I want to see him make something in IMAX.
It is
Right.
rumored to be a dinosaur movie.
We're getting a lot of those. I love
yeah.
it. Dinos are back, baby.
Honestly, it's stupid that it took it this long. Dinosaurs don't only have to be in Jurassic Park movies. Why wouldn't you make dinosaur movies? What's wrong with you?
It kind of speaks to how awesome Jurassic Park was.
That's true.
Where it feels like every time they sat down to try to make one, they just someone just mumbled Jurassic Park and they all got silent. and
Right.
they went, "All right,
It's the
let's
same.
make something else.
It's the same thing we were saying earlier about shark movies, like Jaws. It's
Yeah.
no, can't really top that.
How do you
What else
follow
is there
Jaws?
to say? Yeah. But yeah, that's both good news. I like it.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Well, that's it for news stories.
Oh man, I guess we should
guys.
probably name some more producers, huh, Dave?
I guess we should. And I guess I'll do that right now with my voice.
Yeah.
Big thank you to Norm from Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Pete for Pagel.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you to Numino Ultramicroscopic Silical Volcano Coniosis Anti-Disestablishmentarianism Jones.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to pre-order TikTok superstar Jason Pargin's new book, So He Is Too Drunk for This Dystopia.
Thank you.
Pre-orders are super important. Thank you. Thank you to Rev MD.
Thank you.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Rosemary's Baby from Eraserhead.
Thank you.
Thank you to Screaming Horse Pyramid.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Sorry Cop, world's most laughable centrist.
Thank you.
Thank you to Steven.
Thank you.
Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head.
Thank you so much. So convenient. All right, let me swoop in here.
Yes.
Thank you to the Midnight Patron with patrons at midnight.
Thank
Thank
you.
you to the Oatmeal Savage.
Thank you.
Thank you to the 2B Terror Bunny says, thank you for watching Dead Heat.
You're welcome.
Thank you to these 7 Bs.
Thank
you
you.
to Tiger Doors Pratt Thompson's. Oh, I'm not supposed to say sings. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tux.
Tux.
Thank you to Vincent with a Y.
Thank you.
Thank you to Why Didn't You Take a Flying Fuck at the Moon.
Thank you.
Thank you to Your Mom.
Thanks.
And thank you to Zzz, because Pie Guy liked being last.
Oh, yes.
Man, Dave, while we're giving thanks,
No.
and we're nearing the end of the show, it feels like it's appropriate to ask you if we can be thankful as we're giving thanks for a movie that deserves more hype, perhaps.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
Great. You delightful son of a bitch.
Yeah, I have a movie that deserves more hype. The movie is called The Hole in the Fence. It's actually been around for a bit. I think it's like a couple years old, but it's just never made it to the States. It is. It was Mexico's one. It was on their short list for best international film, but it didn't make it. But it is now having a limited release here, May 26th, which is like soon, I think.
Yeah. It's practically now.
Pretty insidious. It's about a summer camp that feels like it's Pray the Gay Away or like just a very hardcore religious summer camp.
But weirdly, not a good one. Like a sinister Pray the Gay Away camp, which is a cool idea. Yeah.
Weird twist.
One with perhaps bad intentions.
That's right.
Yeah. And the idea is that, this dynamic immediately creates like, a hierarchy within the kids where it's like, the immigrant kids and are the weird kids and like, it becomes very Lord of the Flies. Meanwhile, the teachers are, not helpful. I wouldn't call them teachers, in fact, more like just adults making things worse. And it appears from the trailer and from the reviews, which it's getting high reviews, again, because it's been out for a while, so it's been reviewed a lot now. People have called it the best film of the year for 2021, that is, or like 2022. Doesn't matter. It all devolves into madness, it appears, and murder, and these kids like judging everyone and like going out into the town to kill people.
And it has that vibe like the trailer's pulling a punch. Like you get the feeling you're like, it's going to go farther, harder than they're even revealing to you at this juncture.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what'd you guys think of this?
Oh, very excited. This is the kind of horror movie, I guess, that I was saying burns me, but this one got me. More so than the I'm Mommy, I'm Your Dead Daughter one. I'm definitely watching this as soon as it's available. I like that it's in a foreign language because I'm a snob, and it also makes it creepier to me in some way that I can't fully natively understand what's going on.
Right. And it helps when like it already was out and people are like, yes,
and everyone
it's good.
says it's good, it's tested. Yeah. I feel confident. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, that's a big, like a lot of these movies that deserve more hype, sometimes it's just like, well, the trailer looks compelling. And this time, at least, there's like tons of reviews of people like, it is indeed very good. And so, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm super into this trailer. I really like this.
I'm super into it.
Yeah.
In terms of like horror tropes, like you have like vampires and zombies and shapeshifters and stuff like that. The mob mentality, like where people kind of like The Mist, you guys remember The Mist? Movies that it's just like,
anything like that.
movies where the horror comes from something happens, a reveal happens, like I don't know, like someone's like I'm gay, and then it cuts to another person and that person's face like becomes something else, where you can tell that what's inside their brain is, oh, you just became vicious or disturbed, and now something's gonna happen out of that. That psychological terror is a lot more relevant and nuanced toward, I think, our current society, therefore making it more scary, I would say, than, you know, look at the crazy little girl who can crawl upon the ceiling, you know?
Right. No, yeah, this is way more insidious because it's grounded in reality, right? Like, I love a good horror movie that makes me scared of, like, a doll, you know? Like, I like movies making me scared of stupid things, but, you know.
This is scarier.
There's nothing
to
quite
me.
like, yeah, exactly.
Is all
This
I'm
or,
saying.
like,
It doesn't mean I
Green
don't
Room.
enjoy, you know, like.
Yeah, this is, like, I like The Exorcist, but this is the stuff that's, like, really
This is
scary. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go to sleep and then I'm going to have nightmares kind of stuff.
Right,
you know?
exactly. And this also seems to be, it's not that like they're painting their faces. Like, it is very Lord of the Flies too, which I think it needs, right?
Gave me
Because it
Kill
is
List vibes. If you've seen Kill List, it's like a gritty vibe. Yeah, shaky cam and stuff. I like it for horror.
for sure. So yeah, The Hole in the Fence.
Which, by the way, is also the most Dave title for you, like for you to like it. It's the hole in
it's
the
compelling.
blank. You're immediately gonna like that.
Well, it's not like a fucking crowded room now, is it? You know,
it's not. It's a hole
in a fence.
Like most of your movies that you have hype about seem to be like the pit in the ground.
Yeah, that actually always bothers me. But they're all fucking called that.
Well, this makes
I don't know what
thematic sense, right? Because it's about like a closed
hole in a fence.
ideology leaking out into the greater world.
Yeah, what's a fence really mean? That's right, Tom.
What are fences? Really?
Right, because it evolves from feeling like a Pray the Gay Away standard thing to them saying stuff where you're like, oh, is this a village situation? Like, are you raising them in isolation off the grid or something? Yeah.
It's Reverse Village, where they have like modern technology, but they're
being medieval.
in
behaving like
prehistoric
pilgrims.
Amish territory. You know, Dave, if you think about it, a crowded room is really just a hole in a building with people in the hole.
That's true.
Does
It's
that help you?
No,
No,
you can't.
okay.
You can't do this. You
There's,
can't.
there's,
You can't
there's,
turn
there's
me.
now a hole in the back of my head where my mind was blown.
Dave's like, back on board, baby.
And that's a sewed. We've done it.
We did it.
Thank you guys so much.
Proud of us.
Yeah.
So
I'm proud of us too.
Do you guys want to hit another plug before we head out?
Yeah.
Plug it up.
I'll take this one if you don't mind, Swaimer. So yeah, he's Michael Swaim. I'm Abe Epperson. You know us from Small Beans, probably. And if you didn't hear us at the top of this episode, we're making an independent film. It's based on the time that Michael's father came out as a gay furry while he was a teenager. And it's a coming of age sex comedy / drama.
Dramedy.
And yeah. And so you might be interested
I like coming of sex.
Sexity.
Coming of sex
age drama.
It's a sex. Yeah. You might be interested by the fact that we're producing the feature, and you can help if you go to seedandspark.com/fund/papa-bear. And you can become a part of the movie, or click the link in the description, and you can get stuff from the movie, watch the film early, get burned on Twitter by Michael, even go to a premiere. So yeah, visit the page and help us out. We really want to make the movie, and I think if you read the stuff on that link, maybe you'll agree that the story is worth telling, because we sure do.
Yeah, do it. I read a copy of it, and it was quite good. It was a good script. I know you've probably since made revisions on it, but when I read it was very good.
I want to go in
definitely
blind.
have.
I'm going to go in blind. I haven't read it.
Ooh.
That's fair.
I like it.
I've always wanted to blind you, so that's exciting.
Oh, good. Yeah. I've always wanted to
says
rake
that.
your eyeballs out.
Yeah.
This is. I wanted to mention this. He says this a lot, like too
I want
much.
to blind Tom. I gotta get those
Like
eyes.
he
in his
apropos of
eyes.
nothing. Yeah,
those
he talks
peepers.
about He has a little box that it says Tom's eyes soon taped to it. It's
They
weird.
look at me. They look at me from the inside.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Of
Of
course.
course, anytime. Dave, tell him some stuff.
Yeah, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. You go on there for $5 a month. You get access to exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder's a Maniac, and then ones that we do with the small beans, such as Spiel Boys and Star Trek The Next Futurama. So check those out. We watch movies every Friday night with our patrons. We've been watching some real good stuff lately.
Yep.
Real good stuff.
Some real dog shit.
Some real good films. So check that out.
Good pitch.
We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So slap your newly plucked from your skull peepers onto that.
Yes.
Your Tom eyes.
Yes,
Get
exactly.
Tom's eyes.
Slap my eyes onto that. All right, say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, most of you. You know who you are.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. You can find more of his artwork at instagram.com/mvbramleyart. Our episode artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.